Hello guys, welcome back in Goku Manhwa channel. Let's continue. As Nahisu entered the building, she looked around after stepping into a quiet cafe, letting out a faint sigh of relief. She silently thanked fate that at least one place remained open, as she had been terrified they might have to sleep outside. BM Taiha, however, appeared puzzled, wondering why they had come to such a lonely spot. Nahisu replied nervously that she needed something warm to drink. Bomho frowned slightly, glancing at the flickering lanterns inside and asking whether the place even served real food. The cafe looked rather antique with its faded walls and shelves filled with dusty books. Curiosity flickered in his eyes as he noticed the decor. Old instruments designed for forgotten melodies. Nahisu, realizing what kind of place it was, froze in awe. Her eyes widened as she tried to take it all in, regretting her hesitation earlier. Bom Taiha smirked, teasing her by asking whether she planned to sing for him, which made her heart skip. Startled and flustered, she told him sharply not to talk nonsense, insisting that she just wanted tea. Her gaze flickered across the room again, and her face softened when she noticed the rows of old records, guitars, and violins lined neatly along the walls. She quickly looked away, embarrassed by her earlier fear. She couldn't believe she had panicked over entering the first place with light on, not realizing it was a music cafe. Bom Taiha chuckled quietly, watching her curious expression with mild amusement. He then asked gently what exactly she wanted to order. Nahi, still uncertain, stammered and muttered something about black coffee, which made Bom Taiha grin. Nahisu's cheeks grew warm as she wondered if he was smiling simply because she seemed nervous. She tried to calm herself, whispering under her breath that the cafe had such a peaceful charm, and she couldn't even imagine why it was so empty. The thought soothed her. The world truly was full of forgotten places waiting to be found. She thought softly. Her eyes wandered toward Bom Taiha's hands, and for a brief moment, her imagination drifted. She pictured him playing a violin under dim lights, a soft tune echoing through the cafe, and the image made her face flush pink. Bom Taiha noticed and teased that her cheeks had turned completely red. Nahi, caught off guard, quickly claimed it was just the lighting. He leaned closer, wondering why it was only her face that was warm. Then Nahi, flustered, told him to be quiet, trying to change the topic as she glanced around again. Finally, she spotted something familiar, a set of candles, and immediately held them up in triumph. She called out to BM Taiha, saying that she came for these, asking if that explained her choice. BM Taiha tilted his head, smirking slightly, asking if she actually enjoyed collecting things like that. Nahisu froze, her thoughts tangled, trying to clarify that it wasn't what he assumed. Bom Taiha's soft laughter echoed across the shop, which made her irritation rise. She glared at him, warning him to stop teasing, insisting that she was serious, but he only chuckled harder. Inside, Nahisu groaned, thinking that he found amusement in every situation. She had brought him here only because she thought he'd stay quiet. But now he was the one making a scene. Catching her annoyed expression, BM Taiha chuckled again, asking if she still needed more candles. Nahisu crossed her arms and replied sharply, walking deeper inside to grab a lantern. She said coolly that she needed it for the trip. A long, exhausting journey that required light and patience. She said the lantern would suit perfectly and insisted on paying for it herself. Bom Taiha, watching her with a faint grin, thought she looked stubborn, but he couldn't deny how endearing that made her appear. After they left the shop, Nahisu peeked out of the street corner, scanning the road to make sure no one was following. She suspected the storm might start soon. She debated whether to find shelter or keep walking. But before she could decide, she grabbed Bom Taiha's arm and urged him to move. She reasoned aloud that if they stayed, the rain would catch them unprepared. Without hesitation, she broke into a run, pulling Bom Taiha along with her. Bom Taiha followed with amusement, entertained by her sudden energy. As they sprinted through the narrow lane, Nahisu asked what made him grin like that. He didn't reply, just smiling wider. To him, the evening felt strangely alive. Her hand felt soft in his, and the idea of running beside her, even through thunder and wind, didn't seem so bad. He playfully tugged her closer, whispering dramatically that he might faint from exhaustion if she didn't slow down. Nahisu rolled her eyes but kept running until they reached an old bookstore tucked between closed cafes. She looked around, relieved that it was open. It wasn't a bright place, an aged building with cracked walls and musty air, but it offered warmth. As they entered one of the quiet aisles, the silence settled thickly around them. BM Taiha looked at her curiously and asked how she had known about this spot. Na-hee-su frowned, wondering what he implied. He said that she always seemed to know where to go, to which Na-hee-su answered that she simply followed the light, which made him stare at her in quiet amusement. As he spoke, BM Taiha's hand brushed against hers before moving closer, his fingers tracing the edge of her sleeve. Startled, Na-hee-su stepped back, asking if he was some kind of magician. BM Taiha blinked, unsure if he heard her correctly. He wondered what kind of imagination she carried inside that restless mind of hers. Na-hee-su, still nervous, repeated her question with a touch of doubt. BM Taiha raised an eyebrow and asked if she wanted him to prove it. Na-hee-su froze again, trying to grasp what he meant. Was it a trick or not? Her voice trembled faintly as she asked him to show her. BM Taiha sighed softly, saying she probably wouldn't believe him anyway, but she was the first to ask. He leaned slightly forward as he spoke, his breath brushing near her ear. Na-hee-su tensed, asking him not to get so close and not to whisper things like that either. She said magicians might enjoy suspense, but she didn't. Yet, as his face inched nearer, her composure cracked. She realized that maybe, just maybe, she was curious to see what he'd do next. BM Taiha leaned in further, brushing his fingers against her wrist to steady her. The touch was light, yet it sent a wave through her. When he pulled back slightly, he glanced toward her again, and Na-hee-su blinked, asking if it was his first time performing in a quiet place like this. He nodded once, replying that it was. She continued, asking if it was his first time practicing tricks with someone like her. He chuckled and admitted softly that it was. Inwardly, BM Taiha knew Na-hee-su only wanted to hear reassurance. He chuckled again, repeating his answer as if to calm her doubts. He had never done anything like this before. Never practiced illusions for someone alone, never held a hand longer than necessary, never wished to reveal his secret, and never been this drawn to anyone until now. Yet with her, everything felt strangely calm. He smiled faintly as he wrapped his jacket around her, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. He murmured that they were too similar for anyone else to ever understand them. His voice was quiet, carrying both sorrow and warmth. He asked softly what she dreamed of. Would she let him follow her path? Even if it meant pretending for a while, she had been the first to fight for him, and he was the one who changed because of her. He promised that on this fragile line between trust and fear, he would be the one to protect her, and he would be the one to fall, but she shouldn't close the door completely. He asked her to stay, to let him share his truth, and to show him how it felt to live without running away. Outside, the wind grew colder. Later, the scene shifted toward Ari, who sat alone in her dim room. She recalled earlier in the crowded market she had been standing quietly for a while. Yet she sensed a familiar presence as she lifted her eyes. She saw BM Taiha walking beside Na-hee-su, carrying her bag while they argued lightly. Suddenly he turned his head toward Ari and gave a soft smile, almost like a farewell. That fleeting moment burned into her thoughts long after they vanished into the distance, leaving her standing still in silence.